What's up, everybody? This is Tim from Arm Wrestling Secrets, and in today's video, we're going to talk about the 3 best bicep exercises for arm wrestling.
Come on, look at that bicep. Look at that bicep. Come on, sit.
Okay, guys, let's get right into it. Okay, now we're talking about my 3 favorite bicep exercises for arm wrestling and why I consider them the best, okay? And these are all ones you're going to be able to do at home. Now, let's talk about the mechanics of your bicep a little bit before we get into the exercises, okay? Where do we need strength for the bicep, okay? Okay, you see my bicep here. Okay, obviously, now with my palm facing up, we've all been in this position, your defensive hook position. Okay, now there's a lot of strain on the bicep here. There's a lot of strain on the bicep in arm wrestling, period. It's our primary upper arm pulling muscle. Okay, so when we're pulling or we're defending, okay, and the stress is here with your palm up, your bicep is under stress, okay, and your bicep is working. When your palm is down, you see my bicep there. Okay, when my palm is up, you see the bicep turn on. And then when my palm is down, the bicep turns off, okay? And so when your palm's in a down position, your bicep's not really working anywhere near as much, okay, if at all. And then when your palm is up, your bicep's working almost completely, okay? So remember those fundamental things. So we need strength here. We need strength kind of in a palm up position, okay? And then there's another thing I found after arm wrestling for a long time. There was another strength I found with the bicep. Now, the bicep still, the whole point of the bicep is to basically just bring your lower arm up, okay? Period. But there's different angles here, isn't there? So another strength I found with arm wrestling that I needed a lot in terms of bicep strength was this position here where I'm trying to pull in towards myself, okay? Where I felt like a little bit more, I was at an angle here, not so much your standard bicep curling procedure where you're just standing and you're just curling, right? On the table, your arm is fixed, and that's an issue here. So remember, with your training, your elbow is fixed on the table. So a lot of times when you're training your bicep and your elbow is moving a little bit, it doesn't mimic arm wrestling as well as you might think, okay? And some of these exercises are going to help with that. But these are the primary strengths that I was thinking. Defensive strength for your bicep, you just basically need just good bicep strength there, but in a fixed position, okay? And then same thing here, kind of pulling this way. Still a function of the bicep, but important, okay? And then the third thing, when it comes to bicep, this is not actually a strict bicep exercise. It's going to be for your brachialis muscle, okay? Now, you have a brachialis muscle underneath. You can't see it, okay? It's underneath your bicep, okay? But if your bicep was to completely tear off, you would still be able to do this motion, okay, because of your brachialis muscle, okay? And it's underneath all these bicep muscles, okay? And if it's a strong muscle, a short muscle, but it's also designed to lift the arm, okay? Specifically with your thumb up, okay? So we also need strength here, don't we? We need strength here. Now, a lot of that's actually brachialis strength, not so much your bicep. When your thumb is turned up, okay, and we're pulling, okay, we actually need brachialis strength, okay? So let me show you the exercises and we'll get right into it. Okay, guys, exercise number 1 is going to be a basic preacher curl. Okay, I'm going to use the back of a bench here. Okay, that's going to work just fine. You can use that at your gym as well, okay, or the back of a preacher bench, but I'm going to say something specific about this and where you should have your arm, okay, and then we're just going to be using a basic dumbbell. I have about 40 pounds on there. Okay, guys, we're going to do a preacher curl right here on the back of this bench I have here. Okay, you can use a preacher curl at your gym. You want to make sure you use the flat side, though, not the rounded side. Okay, it's going to make it a lot easier. We want to use the flat side to make it harder. Okay, so here's our curl. I'm just going to go down about 75% of the way, and then I'm curling back up. 80% down, curl, and hold, okay? Let me show you the next exercise. Okay, guys, exercise 2 is going to be for that brachialis muscle, okay? The muscle we were talking about underneath that bicep, okay? We need that hammer curling strength, okay? So we're going to do a hammer curl for it. However, remember that it's a mistake when you're working hammer curls or bicep curls. It's a mistake for arm wrestling, okay, to have your arm just hanging out here, okay? So you're hammer curling. See how your elbow is moving, okay? We want to have a fixed elbow. So same thing. We're just going to use the same. We're going to use the same bench. Dumbbell, okay, here's our exercise, okay. Okay, so we have less strength here, okay? So the biceps working, but the brachialis is doing a lot of the work. So thumb up, okay? You want your thumb in a thumb up position, okay? And we're gonna curl down, same thing, about 80% of the way, okay? And then curl back up, okay? Thumb up, curl. And hold at the top for 1 second. Squeeze. Squeeze. And you want to control on the way down. The weight should never be falling. It should be control, squeeze, control, squeeze. Let's look at exercise number 3. Okay, guys, so exercise number 3. I do 2 versions of this, and I'm going to show you how I do that. But the first version we're going to do is right here on your bench. This is something you have at every gym, okay? Just use the back of a bench in its highest upright position that you can get it, okay? We want to have your arm totally stable and as close as we can to perpendicular to the floor is better, okay? So let's look at this third exercise. Okay, so we did these 2 angles already, okay? Look at this. We did palms up, curl on this. We did our thumbs up curl for the brachialis, okay? Now all I want to do is I want to turn and I'm going to curl this way. Same thing. Elbow's going to be stabilized, but we're going to be curling to the side using the same bicep, but slightly different angle. Okay, this is going to help. I notice this certainly helps when I'm pulling, kind of pulling strength. I feel a little bit of a particular bicep strength I get from this exercise. And we're here. So this time, instead of palm up or instead of thumb up, okay, I'm just going to turn my arm to the side and I'm curling. And I'll show some different angles here, okay? Curl, squeeze at the top. Elbow is not moving. Squeeze. Let me show it from the front. Okay, guys, in that same exercise from the front, okay, so instead of palm up or thumb up, we're turning the arm all the way to the side, okay? And we're gonna curl. About 80% down, curl. Curl. And let me show you one other way I do that. Okay, guys, so there's one other way I do that exercise to the side, okay, the one we were just doing on the bench. And keep in mind, too, if you get any irritation on the inside of your elbow from doing those against the bench, okay, don't worry about it. Maybe try this other version. I do both versions, but if you're getting pain on the inside from having it up against the bench, okay, don't do that one. Just try this one. Okay, so this is going to be a bent over concentration curl. This is the only bicep curl that I'm doing where my arm is not technically stabilized against something, but I try to keep it as stable as possible, and I'll show you what I mean. And I'll show you some different angles here. Okay, so this one you're going to do standing dumbbell only, okay? And remember, working one arm at a time, okay? So you want to get the max out of each arm. Remember, when you're competing, your arm's all by itself, okay? So make sure you're strength training one arm at a time, okay? So let's look at this. Okay, so I'm going to stand up. Okay, so my bent over concentration curl is kind of mimicking what we were just doing on the bench. Okay, so we're curling to the side instead of the typical straight up axis up and down for bicep curls. We're going to turn the arm to the side and we're going to be curling this way. Okay, so I'm going to grab the dumbbell in a second, but I want you to see the particulars of this, and then I'll show you with the dumbbell. Okay, so what I want you to try to do is just going to let your arm hang straight down. Okay, and then I'm turning my hand. So when I'm curling, I'm coming up this way. So I'm curling the weight this way, not this way. Does that make sense? Okay, so I'm turning my body to the side. I'm going to keep my posture good. I don't want to get all hunched over. That's going to be bad for your back. Okay, so the weight's going to be hanging straight down, and I'm going to be curling this way. Okay, so let me grab the weight from this angle, and I'll show you a couple different angles. Okay, this one's simple, but it's hard, and it's really going to contract this bicep more than anything. This is my favorite bicep exercise of all time, bent over concentration curl. Okay, so I got my weight here. Okay, so we want this just hanging straight down. Okay, so when we're curling, the weight's coming up like this, just sideways. So from the front, that would look like this. Curl. From this side, just like that. Okay, guys, that's what I consider to be the best 3 bicep exercises for arm wrestling. I'll see you in the next one.